2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Walk him off. Chris Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by friend of the show, Justin Lorber. Justin, we're going to get into some Rule 5 draft talk here, which is your area of expertise. But while we've got you on, it's been an eventful offseason in Major League Baseball, maybe not as eventful as Dodger fans would like. How are you feeling about the direction things? Is there some panic setting in? Is there frustration? Is there patience? Where are you at?
I mean, it's fine. I think panicking on today is December 8th.
Yeah.
I don't really know what good that would do. There are guys who the Dodgers could have and maybe some would argue should have signed already off the market. But, that's what happens. There are guys still left. And we'll see how long they're going to toe this line of, we're going to play our young guys. Maybe we're not looking to go over the luxury tax, do a reset this year. We'll see. I'm not sure. And I know, I believe it was Bill Shaken in the LA Times wrote an article very recently about the Trevor Bauer stuff still looming over, especially from a salary perspective. So we'll see. A lot of offseason left, though.
On the young guys, I know you're high on Miguel Vargas. He's a guy that I'm sure you're excited to see get some more at bats. How are you feeling about right now? James Outman would be playing a big role. Bobby Miller might be playing a big role. Are those guys that you feel okay with going into the season, sort of having some reliance on?
I mean, maybe not, these are impact players on April 1st, but, I think it's fair to say that, you hope that those guys or maybe not all of them, but several of them are going to emerge as impact players over the stretch of the season. And by the time you get to September and October, they have defined roles on a playoff team.
Yeah.
You can't expect all of them, but I think if you look back to maybe, 2015 through 2018, maybe 2019 too, is the Dodgers had a lot of guys who came up and earned roles.
Yeah.
Over the course of those few years, a lot of prospects. And over the past couple years, the team has been just so stacked that guys haven't really been able to do that. Now, they've traded away some guys. The system, these things happen in waves, and they have a wave coming right now. But it's an opportunity to, have that next wave of young Dodger players that propelled the Dodgers to these division titles 5-6 years ago, and a lot of them are now gone. And that's the other reason they were able to go get guys like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, is because they have guys in-house, on the younger side, who are able to, who are able to be, not extended, but they're still on their rookie deals and they're not making as much money.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah, freeing up salary cap. And so we'll see. It like you said, there's lots of time left. But let's get to the matter at hand. Let's talk a little bit about the Rule 5 draft. You wrote an article prior to the Dodgers needing to protect some guys, breaking down who you thought might get protected, who were the locks. I believe you gave 3 locks of guys that would be protected: Cartaya, Pages, and Bush. All 3 of those were protected. The Dodgers, you had a likely protected Jose Ramos. He was not protected. And then you had 50-50 guys, Duran and DeLuca. DeLuca was protected. So the Dodgers protected 4 players. A whole batch of other guys were then available to the rest of the league to be picked. They ended up losing 3. Ryan Noda was taken by the A's, 2nd overall. Jose Hernandez, a pitcher, went 3rd to the Pirates, and Gus Varland, a right-handed pitcher, was selected 10th overall by the Brewers. So before we get into specific names here, I'm reading your stuff and sort of relying on you for my information, and I'm looking at this and saying, hey, Justin had some guys he thought the Dodgers maybe should have protected. They didn't, and all those guys are still Dodgers. This feels like a good day. Is that how you felt, or were there a couple of these names that you were bummed to see go?
I mean, I think yes and no. You never want to lose guys, but part of that is being a strong developmental organization. You don't have spots for everyone, and you are going to lose guys. And teams like the Dodgers and Yankees, I think both teams lost multiple guys this year. They've lost guys in the past. Some people might know Garrett Whitlock on the Red Sox, who emerged into a, legitimate impact pitcher, was a Rule 5 pick last year from the Yankees. So good teams develop more players than they need, and some of those guys get traded away. Some of them get claimed off of waivers in the Rule 5 draft.
Yeah.
I think as a as a general thing, Jose Ramos is a guy that I'm very high on. I've had him as a top 10 organizational prospect the last couple of years. Very high upside. There are questions surrounding the hit tool, but some of the biggest power in the organization. And despite him, only going up to single A, I still thought there maybe was a chance that someone would take a shot on the upside. So I'm glad he's still in the organization. And in all reality, that's not a guy that you want to burn an option year on, because he's going to be spending next year in all likelihood at single A, at high A, and double A. Yeah. So, that is a 40-man spot that you essentially don't have.
Yeah.
So ultimately good there that he wasn't picked, even though they didn't protect him.
Of the three guys the Dodgers lose, Ryan Noda taken second overall. He was the only guy that even sort of got mentioned in your article, and that's not a knock on you as much as it is a surprise of these other two guys. I mean, you mentioned 12 to 15 guys that potentially could be protected by the Dodgers. The fact that two guys were taken outside of that list is surprising. So Noda, the book on him seems to be not a whole lot of positional value because he's a corner outfielder, first baseman, older prospect. I believe he's 25. Came over as part of a trade, but feels like a guy that could easily go to the A's and make an impact this year, and yet at the same time, it didn't seem like there was a path for him in Los Angeles either. Yeah,
I mean, you said it, the positional versatility, corner outfielder, first base. He plays a good first base, so it's not like he's a defensive liability where you're looking to get him mainly DH at bats. A lot of power, 25 home runs each of the last 2 years. A lot of patience, too. Walk rate greater than 15% each of the last 2 years. So, lefty power hitting corner types, those guys are around. You can get them. And with the Dodgers, there wasn't a huge path to playing time with Max Muncy and Freddie Freeman and even Miguel Vargas potentially seeing some time at first base. And you got Mookie Betts in one corner outfield spot. And we know they're going to add at least one outfielder this offseason in addition to who they already have. So, just not a lot there. He's 26, so he's an older guy. I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit like 20 home runs with the A's this year. I looked at their roster resource chart, and they don't have a lot of dudes just on their roster in general, but especially at first base and outfield. He could very easily earn himself a starting spot in their organization.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the other two guys are surprises, to say the least. I'm looking at your rankings. These are old because they're from mid-season last year. Gus Varland was the 82nd ranked prospect, I believe, that you had in the Dodgers organization. And Jose Hernandez, I'm not even sure if he's in your top 101, unless I'm missing something, unless I skipped him. But, I mean, those two guys, again, it feels like you never want to lose someone to begin with, but it doesn't feel like those two guys are massive losses for the organization. Is that fair, or am I maybe overstating that a bit?
No, I think that's fair to say. And look, those are two guys who are relievers, and so they're easier to keep on a major league roster the entire year and not so much hurt their development. Jose Hernandez is a lefty.
You had him 74th, by the way. That was a mistake by me. So he was 74th on your list.
Yeah, so both guys who are on the prospect radar. Jose Hernandez, big fastball from the left side, has been into the upper 90s at a solid strikeout rate this year. Got up to Double-A for the first time. He turns 25 later this month. Gus Varland, I believe he's also 25. He came over in that Cody Thomas, Adam Kolarek, Sheldon Noisy trade. He was the second piece coming back from the A's. Was a starter last year, had started at the start of this year. Didn't go great, was shifted to relief. Was very good after that. More than 13 strikeouts per 9 innings after that. Fastball took to take up, has a solid slider. So two guys who I would not be surprised to see stick as major league relievers, especially with the Brewers and their, qualifications when it comes to pitching development. You never want to see the Brewers take one of your arms and be like, oh, well, there's something we like here, because they're pretty good at that.
Yeah, and that's an important note. Guys taken in the Rule 5 draft have to spend the entire season on the major league roster. Otherwise, the option is given to the Dodgers to take these guys back, basically. And so something to keep an eye on there. The Dodgers did not select anybody in the major league portion of the draft. They did pick a few minor league guys. I guess, were you surprised they didn't take anyone in the major league side? Was there anybody that sort of you were looking at lists and saying, oh, this guy would have been an interesting fit, / any of the minor league guys' names that jump out at you that are intriguing to you? There's no Carson Fulmer this year. There's no name recognition. It doesn't feel like quite as much.
No, there isn't. And just to start, no, I don't expect the Dodgers to take anyone because really, aside from the top of the roster guys with the with that latter half of the roster, they need flexibility, whether it's positional flexibility or being able to option guys down. Most contending teams do. So most contending teams will not take a player in the Rule 5 draft. I think the Cardinals did, and I think the Mets did. But beyond that, I'm pretty sure it was mostly teams either with losing records or somewhere around 500. So, no, I'm not surprised about that. As for the minor league guys, honestly did not know any of them beforehand. Actually, Josh Stowers, he was a second-round pick a couple years ago, but not someone who's made a huge headway since. He's been in a couple of trades. He was traded technically not as part of that Sonny Gray trade, but he was involved in that series of transactions. He was traded to the Yankees for Shed Long, and then he was traded from the Yankees to the Rangers for Rougned Odor.
Okay. So there you go. Well, there you have it. Dodgers lose 3 guys in the Rule 5 draft. Again, if you're just sort of on the fringe of prospect stuff like me and you're reading Justin's stuff, seems like a good thing. None of the top guys, none of the most exciting prospects for the Dodgers were guys that got taken in this realm. And, look, if you want to be pro player for a moment, it's good for these guys who probably weren't going to get opportunities within the Dodgers organization to go and contribute. And we've seen other guys, I'm thinking of Sheffield, guys that have gone on to other organizations in the Rule 5 draft and gotten a chance that they probably wouldn't have at the Dodgers, within the Dodgers organization. So, Justin, we appreciate you as always for joining us, talking a little bit of prospect and Rule 5 stuff. We'll have to get you back on. I know you do a big off-season piece. Once that comes out, let us know. We'll have you back on to talk through it, all right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody, for joining. As always, make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell here. Tons of videos and content coming out, tons of movement around Major League Baseball, trying to figure out what the Dodgers are doing. We've got all the updates for you here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, go Dodgers.